Yo, we back. It's a king to a prince, the royal road. This is chapter 11. We so excited to be back with y'all. I am the prince.
I am the king. Anyway, what's up, son? How you doing?
Ooh, I've been doing that workout that you put me on to.
Yeah.
Been having me right. I've been doing that every day for the past week actually. So I'm just trying to monitor that, stay on top of that. Really enjoying this calisthenics journey though. So this week
Yeah.
2, trying to just stay positive, stay motivated, stay try to walk past the mirror as many times as I can to get that. Yeah. I'm looking good. All right, man. We're gonna be back on it tomorrow. So I'm chilling right now. How you doing, Pops?
Yeah, I'm good, man. One thing about calisthenics really challenges you. It brings out a different beast in you. You know what I mean? Because it's just you. It's your own body weight. It's everything. It really, I always try to tell people, especially people that might be starting off or people that's just coming back into it, get back to the basics, man. Go back to calisthenics. Be able to do push-ups, be able to do sit-ups, be able to do dips and pull-ups. Even if it's how some gyms have the assisted pull-ups and the assisted dips. That's fine because you're still, building that strength up and getting it back into it. So I tell people everybody wants to get big and swole and strong, and weights help. You do gain your strength by calisthenics, but weights do help. But don't just jump right back into the weights. You know what I mean? Unless you're a professional, then you kind of know how to move and maneuver. But take your time, man. But that's good though, man. Just stick with it. You'll start to see results. It may not be the first few weeks. It may not even be a month. You know what I mean? But what will happen is your body will get adjusted after a month. But then after 2 and 3 months, that's when you'll really start to see, gains. And it varies. It's different for different people. You know what I mean? So the key is just stay with it, man. Consistency. Even when you don't feel like doing nothing, do something, So.
Yeah, that's all it really is. Especially because I've been doing it a lot more in the mornings too, and I'm back watching some of the old shows. I'll watch my old animes and stuff. So I'll just throw one of them on and bang out my workout. So
yeah,
I'm just constantly staying in that flow. So that's really been good for me too. But like you said, it's easier, not really easier, but it's better for me personally to hop back into the basics, push-ups, sit-ups, squats, all that with my body weight, as opposed to jumping back out to the weights. Because I know like many other people, when you go right back into working out after taking a long break, whether that be weeks, months, or whatever, you that second day to try to working out, that is the hardest day possible.
Yeah,
especially when you're hitting them weights, you feel that soreness on almost every part of your body. Don't even matter if you worked it out or not. It's just dang, it's
exactly.
so my arms feel heavy, but actually, I still have that similar feeling after doing the calisthenics because I'm doing a lot of stuff to failure or maxing it to 100 reps or something. So I'm always trying to at least feel that type of same level of soreness in my arms and my legs that I would feel with weights. But I know it's just going to be so much more rewarding in the end that I'm doing in my body weight too.
Exactly. It is more rewarding, man. You really start to see, because it's crazy. You see people in the gym, they can bench press 300-400 pounds, but they can't do a pull up to save them their lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's I never wanted to be like that. I never wanted to be just weight strong, but not my own body strength. You know what I mean? So that also helps when you're lifting weights, So
yeah, definitely.
And it also fuels the muscles, I think, a lot faster. You ever notice when let's just say you were doing weights, say you were bench pressing, and then you jumped down and did 20 push-ups. Do you ever feel like you get a pump, you know what I mean? Because you're such an with the push-ups. And then when you go back to pushing that bench again, it's not as how it was before, So I always tell people,
it's all in the mind too.
Yeah, it is. Everything falls down to mental, man. Everything, the
true.
consistency basis, just getting up, going to the gym. It's all a mental game. But once you get out of the wanting to be comfortable, like me, I enjoy at times in my life being uncomfortable, and it's just with everything. And because then what it does is it challenges me and it makes me dig a lot deeper into myself to try to figure out how can I overcome this. And eventually what ends up happening is when your mind starts to see like, okay, this person ain't leaving. He just about to stay right here and deal with this uncomfortableness for however long it takes. Eventually you start getting comfort out of it, you know? So
Yeah.
especially when it comes to the body, like nobody, I mean, we all enjoy working out. We all enjoy everything that comes with it. It is like frustrating because if it was so easy, everybody could just take a magic pill and their body be just whatever they want. You know what I mean? But it takes the hard work. And sometimes people don't want to put in that hard work every day. Sometimes people don't want to get up 4, 5, o'clock to go to the gym. And then after that, go on and, carry their day. That's why, like you, it's for me. I enjoy working out in the morning, and the type of, of course, having my own business, but my early job, because I work like graveyard shift. For me, I get off early enough to where I still have enough of the morning before I even go into the afternoon to get my workout in. So I at least feel like, okay, I'm complete. Like I did what I had to do this morning. So now I have time to do everything else I have to do, because it's tough when you work and the times you get off. Now you got to go hit the gym, and you can't be in there for like 15, 20 minutes. You got to put an hour and a half in there to really get a good workout. And then by the time you leave there, you got to go home, you got to shower, or if you got, you got a person, a significant other, if y'all got to go grocery shopping, if y'all got animals, you got to do all of this stuff. So like now, before you know it, your entire day is done, so shouts out to people that do find the time to get it in. I tell people, even if you can only do 45 minutes, then just do 45 minutes of anything. As long as you building, you're feeling your body, and dieting, of course, that's the tricky and the hardest thing in the world, because dieting takes you away from the foods you love, the foods you want, so you can eat it in moderation.
That's what
but
a real
you're going to pay the cost. You can't eat a hamburger. Yeah, because you can't eat a slice of, you can eat one, but if you're eating like 4 slices of pizza, you're going to have to work your ass off to get that back, so it's one of those things,
That's what they talk about. People talk about gluttony. God talks about gluttony, being gluttonous, being greedy.
Exactly.
That's all like comes down to the mind. That's a good segue to what we was originally getting to talk about, though, being greedy and gluttonous. Let's get into my boy Jontay Porter.
Oh, that's Michael Porter, his brother, right?
He's looking bad, and his brother ain't helping. MPJ not helping the case.
and it's sad because it's like that is your brother, but at the same time, it's like you have your own legacy and you can't tarnish your own legacy, but it's still like, yo, that's your blood brother. So, but
he ain't got to throw me under the bus, bro.
Yo, that was crazy. That was crazy. Like, he was basically like, he don't get no girls.
I don't struggle with the women.
Like, I don't get no girl. He don't get no girls. I'm like, yo, that's really putting your brother out there. He got a bad addiction. I'm like,
and then he making it seem like he like.
I know his brother was probably sitting back like, what the what I got to do with this?
I'm on trial. I'm on trial. Nah, that's crazy. But I think a lot of people did miss the point of what MPJ was saying, and that was just, God gives different battles to different people to see, what they can handle, how much faith they can keep in him, how much can distractions can be placed around, and they still stay focused on their purpose. And, I think it was very aware of MPJ to say that about himself being a professional NBA player, because I'm pretty sure there's probably tens of thousands of girls throwing themselves at them and all the other NBA players and professional athletes. So to actually admit that being one of your vices, and you're aware that is something that is not necessarily held him back because he's still a great player, still in the NBA, still a professional, but that's something maybe holding him back personally from achieving some of the things that he may want spiritually, mentally,
Yeah.
like anything that's like outside of like the basketball sense. So I feel like that was a good topic for him to touch on, because I'm pretty sure there's probably a lot more NBA players and a lot more professional athletes that feel the same way, but really just don't have the guts to really come out and say that, like they struggle with some of those things.
Yeah.
And his brother, unfortunately, did get caught up in sports betting and gambling. So, that is also something that he was vocal about. I feel like he personally could have said it a little bit better, making it seem like his brother be doing poker games in the backstreet alley.
Yeah.
I still feel like that was also something that, I'm pretty sure a lot of other professional athletes struggle with that too. Like we even had Michael Jordan, like was a known like gambling addict.
Gambler, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's like it's something that's been around in professional sports, been around, men in general. So that's something that I think that I would like to see, that people, especially young men, talking on those subjects that we really aren't comfortable talking about, letting people know, like, these are some of the things that I feel like hold me back. And, I feel like there was times like in my life where I let women or certain situations with women, kind of deter me from my path. Yeah. So, I feel like, yeah, it's easy to resonate with something like that. So, seeing that on maybe a larger scale with, like I said, more women, more money, more access to those things, it takes a real self-aware person to be like, you know what, these are the things I struggle with, and I may need help with that. And God may be putting these things into my life to show me, maybe like he said for Michael Porter Jr.'s example, he said that's why he hasn't been blessed with a wife yet. And, there's certain things that you have to go through in life, whether that be with a person, whether that be with yourself, to reach your purpose, to reach that status, to reach that level of maturity that you want to for yourself. It takes time. You have to be aware of those certain vices. So that was good.
Yeah. And I think what also, when you look at it, a lot of these athletes, they are, and you can say this for yourself, they're in your age range. So you're getting thrown from doing something that you love and doing something that that's going to benefit you and your family as playing the sport. Now you're going from, the high school to collegiate levels to now where you're in professionals, because there's a lot of, not every collegiate player or high school player is guaranteed an NIL deal. They may not really be the star that they are going to be until they get to the professional level. And then you're getting money thrown at you where, it's one thing when you're getting money thrown at you when you're at a larger scale in life and you got to deal with the family, you got to deal with the old neighborhood, those circumstances. It's another thing when attention is being brought to you from a whole different perspective, because now they're traveling places where they've never been. They're going into cities and, it's just a different atmosphere. And a lot of people whether they come from big cities or small towns, when you're getting thrown into that, it's like you're getting thrown into the wolves. And sometimes God wants us to go through that. Sometimes he wants us to get thrown into the wolves just so we can see, I think, two things: how much he's going to be there to help us get through it, but also how much you're willing to deal with. And it's a test, so I think it's good when a lot of these professional athletes, I'm not necessarily saying to, be around or be with every woman. I'm not saying that. But what I mean is, it's one thing when you see these athletes dealing with somebody that they came in the game with, they came into this professional sport with from a while, and then, that doesn't work. And then they get with somebody else. It's like, okay, well, then they tried and see that wasn't working for them. It's another thing when they've never experienced that, never had anybody, get with somebody, next thing you know, they running around creeping on with all these other different type of women. Now they're getting thrown out there, and then a lot of times what comes with that, a lot of the negative publicity, because you see also so many athletes falling victim of women saying they did this to them, so it's tough. I think it's something that comes with the territory. But again, what I think they should always do is have these conversations with them constantly, just to check on their mental, check on, because who knows if they would have got to Jonte earlier and helped him with this, maybe he wouldn't have been banned, because that's crazy. You know what I mean? So, but again, like how you said Michael Jordan. Now, this is the one thing I say, like Michael Jordan didn't seem like, you get some athletes, what I was reading, that they're betting against themselves or for themselves. So sometimes they'll take themselves out the game, or they won't score this many points or get this many rebounds.
That's what I hate.
And it's like, that's crazy, because it's like, okay, you look at Jordan and other ones, they might have did side bets, not necessarily on themselves, but just other, bets and gambling and that. But I think once you get to a point to where you're starting to sacrifice yourself, like, to me, that's kind of weak, because you're taking away from something that you get a lot of people that will never become a professional athlete. And here you are, you have this opportunity and you're blowing it just to bet, a couple 100,000 that you could gain for yourself, you're
going to make for the game anyway.
Yeah. And it's like, that's when you're taking the fun and the competition out of the sport. And then it starts to make me think, well, how many other teams are doing this? How many other sports are doing this? So now when you start looking at it, because you always get the conspiracy theorists, that football is a setup, basketball is a setup, you get all that. Doing things like this doesn't fight the cause, so.
And it's crazy? It's like, we was calling all these conspiracy theorists crazy for the last, 10, 15 years, for the things that they were saying about politics, for the things they were saying about these music entertainers, these rappers. And I only gotta say names, but we heard a lot of theories. And all those theories came out to be true.
Exactly.
So I wouldn't think that, the NBA, the NFL is any different, because, if you got one player on the team that's, taking the under on himself, that's going to be a trickle down effect. Doesn't matter how many minutes he plays, doesn't matter how many shots or attempts that he puts up. For the fact that he's betting that your team is gonna, perform poorly, and he's making himself perform poorly, is just gonna eventually somebody else on the team is gonna be like, you know what, I can do that too.
I'm just about to say that. That's so true. How do you know that somebody else is gonna be like, yo, listen, I can make a quick however much over here by doing this. So now I'm gonna do that. So now, like you said, it's that trickle down effect, and that's where the actual competitiveness of the sport and the actual love of the sport, now it goes from, it's like now it's some politic BS, you know what I mean, behind the scenes. And I don't like that,
And then not only that, it takes away the I won't say like the love, but kind of like that feeling that gamblers get when they want to gamble. It's like, how am I gonna even enjoy doing something that's legal? It's not like it's illegal. It's not like it's wrong for somebody to do. If you got the money, if you got the extra funds to spare, it's not something that's deteriorating your life. You're not putting your house on the line. You're not betting your kids' future and stuff like that. So it's like, how am I supposed to make my $20-$30 if I got, what's the name, not even trying out there, not even putting forth the effort, or checking himself out of the game with a little like minor injury or something like that. So it's just like, dang, like, you have these people that was supposed to be this fun kind of like investment type of thing that's like, it's not even clean anymore. It's not fair because the people that are within it are, rigging it, and they are part of it as well. They profit off of it as well. So it's like, there's no middle ground. There's no fair game. And it's like, at that point, when it comes to like FanDuel and DraftKings, I personally feel like people have a case to kind of just be like, you know what, I don't want to deal with like those apps or those things anymore until there's like a set change or a rule or something that we can all prove that, players don't have an effect other than just playing the game.
Exactly. Because you never know now, you know what I mean? And that's the sad thing. And, Michael Porter Jr.'s brother is Jonte, right? Am I saying? I think it's Jonte. Okay, well, Jonte is just one case that got caught. There's plenty of more Jontes in the NBA, NFL that we're just not knowing because they just haven't gotten caught yet. You know what I mean? Like, and they always feel like, and then you got to think about it. Gambling, we've all done it. I'm not a gambler. I don't like to lose, but when I have gambled before, when you win, it's a rush. It's a high, So, and I may be winning, it depends if I was at the casino, if we were just rolling dice, I may have won like $50, $60. To me at that moment, like that's a hit. That's a win. When you win 5,000, 10,000, like your level of that highness is just so high that you can't stop, So just imagine that on a scale where, you not performing at your top can get you a few $100,000. You're looking at it like, well, what's this one game going to do? Or especially if y'all have a losing record, y'all not going to the playoffs. It's like, well, what does it really matter? And we all know players, this has been going on before I was born, before you was born. It's going to be going on after we're gone. Players like to get stats. They like to reach certain stats and things like that. So I understand that. I get it. But it's when you're not performing at your top, that's like, bro, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
You gotta have somebody sit down and explain that thought process, because not only are you, jeopardizing yourself, jeopardizing your career, it's not for that much money. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like a small percentage of the amount of money that you would make playing that game.
Exactly.
And then you just, you're hurting your future, like, salary incentives. Like if you can't maintain a certain average, or you playing this bad, or you miss this many shots on the season, it's like, why would you be willing to jeopardize those certain things for?
Exactly.
It's not like I haven't seen nobody. I'm pretty sure there has. I'm pretty sure there has been people that has won millions of dollars from sports betting, but they haven't been no player.
Of course, think about it. A player that's making multi-millions and hundreds of millions of dollars, they're not jeopardizing that for gambling. Like at that sense, they're going to go use that money to go invest in their own companies and their own businesses. I know I would. I know that's the way I'm going to be thinking. I'm not going to be thinking like, oh, you know what? Let me take this million and throw it over here. And then definitely I'm not going to bet on myself. That's the worst. I don't even think I would bet on my sport. I think at that point I'm doing football and boxing and
all that other stuff.
I'm going to other
that's fine.
That's fine. Yeah.
And I feel like if players do, like, if you one of those people, like, you gotta gamble, like you gotta, like, just have that thing on the side that's like you like to feel that rush. Just do it on another sport.
Exactly.
Because if you really doing it on, like, in a way that you feel like you can impact it, then you gambling in the wrong thing. You should be playing something more like poker, something like anything else, like what's it called, craps or something like that. Like anything that it's like going to the casino if you looking for that rush, to feel that rush, to lose your money. That's really what you want to do.
Exactly.
It's like, why jeopardize the pot that's getting you the money to gamble?
Exactly. Because you see people, man, and it's like, again, they don't think about their families. They don't think about their career. And, the sad thing is they don't look at the generation that's coming up. Like or even the ones that will never make it. You know how many players have a great jump shot, could probably shoot better than Reggie Miller, Ray Allen, Steph Curry, but we'll never get to hear them because they just didn't have what it takes. They might have not been fast enough. They might have not been tall enough. They might have not been strong enough. They might have had, something. So you look at players that, never got that opportunity, and you see people that blow it. It's like when I look at people in any field or anything that I'm trying to do, whether it's, acting or mostly that, because that's the entertainment aspect. But when I look at them and I'm like, you're not taking this serious. Like, you got an opportunity. I got to get my ass up every day to go to work. And it's not saying that I don't appreciate it, but this is not what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? But this is what I have to do. But here you are, you're jeopardizing it over just nonsense. And it's like, it's sad, man. It's sad when you see people take opportunities for granted, and it's also sad when you see people hating on those that are doing something positive for themselves. You know what I mean? So, and yeah, man, that's just. We'll see how this all plays out. I think he has. I think he goes.
I don't want to see nobody go to jail.
I think his trial is next year. I think they postponed it. So, hopefully it'll work out for him. Hopefully he's learned his lesson. But if he does, because I know they said he tried to get a request to play overseas and he got denied. So maybe those teams, they want to see how this trial is going to play out. Get that opportunity if he does, if God blesses him, because he's young. So it's one of those things he can learn. If God blesses him, don't blow it, because then if you do blow it, now you're going to be looking like the clown. You're going to be looking like the fool, So I tell people, don't, just take it, take it light. We'll see. But speaking of that, I was watching Vlad TV and I saw Ari Spears. Now, you know who Ari Spears is, right? The comedian?
Yeah, the comedian. Right,
And I'm a fan of his when it comes to his stand-up, as far as when he's doing crowd work. Not really, I haven't really seen him in too many movies or things like that. And I really didn't watch Mad TV, the show that he was on every now and then. I was
a little bit of him there.
Yeah, I was more like in Living Color and Saturday Night Live. Those were my TV shows. But I do remember him, from Mad TV. But I was watching him on Vlad TV, and he was saying a few things first about Ice Cube. He was basically saying he doesn't like Ice Cube. He don't like his music. He don't like his acting. He thinks he's terrible at acting. He thinks his songs are terrible. And I'm like, okay, now
the way he talks.
I'm like, you can have your opinion, but when you start going into points of saying that Ice Cube, who's transitioned from the music to the films and actually was successful in both, to just sit there and call somebody terrible or trash, that's a reach. Like, we know it sounds like you tried to get on a movie. It didn't happen.
He dubbed it.
And then he was talking about 50 Cent. He said, now 50 Cent was in a movie with Sylvester Stallone called Escape Plan. 50 was like, he was like the computer tech type of guy. So Ari Spears was like, the only difference between 50 Cent, the computer guy, and 50 Cent, the rapper? The glasses. And I'm like, yo, son really did his thing. It's like, if you're a computer tech and you're taking care of this, you're really not going to have too much of a wide range. You're not out there shooting. You're not out there fighting. You're a computer guy. So your range is only going to be limited to, so much. But
most talented computer guy I've ever known.
Exactly. So he was just like dissing him, and I'm like, you it's one thing to critique somebody. It's one thing to even be critical of somebody. But when you start going to the point where you're just pinpointing everything, I don't like this song or Ice Cube when he said this lyric. It's like, for you to sit there and take that much time to go into what you don't like on this song or this movie when he was doing like this, bro, that takes a lot of time and patience and effort and energy to sit there and be like, okay, rewind that. Nah, fast forward to that. I don't like that line. You know what I mean? So It was just at that point, I'm like, bro, you hating it. And I'm one of those people, if you a hater, I'm going to call you out. It is what it is, because they would do it to me. You know what I'm saying? So if you're a hater, and then I just saw he was basically saying, and this is what I want to ask you to sum up everything. They were asking him about, do you think Kendrick is top 20? And I'm like, he's basically said no. He said, nah, Kendrick is not top 20. So the guy was like, well, name me 20 people that's better than Kendrick. And he was like, he couldn't do it. So it's like, okay, so at this point, now you just hate. I'm sorry. I think Kendrick is one of the top 20. I think Drake is in the top 20. You know what I'm saying?
I don't even really like Drake like that, but I know there's no denying that he's like a top 10 artist of all time. You can't
deny that
about music and then just completely disregard 2010 to 2020 when he literally just was number one, number two with him and Kendrick.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be like those certain type of people where you can't really talk about music or you can't really talk about entertainment without Ice Cube. You can't really talk about music, can't talk about entertainment without 50 Cent.
Exactly. You can't even talk music about Diddy. We still got to talk about Puffy. It's like he's had such an impact on music that you have to talk about. You may not have to
talk about Diddy from the 90s to now. Like, that's how much time.
Even R. Kelly, you still got to mention him. You know, one of the greatest singers ever. It's like you don't have
no way to talk about music without it.
Exactly. That's where you have to learn to separate the art from reality. The art is one thing. The reality is a totally different, so you can't disregard and say, well, I don't like this person because of what they did. Okay, but what about their 15-year track record in music? You can't tell me you ain't have no CDs or you didn't download the music or you didn't, play these at parties or dance to it. It's like, that's BS. So,
That's crazy you say that too. I was just like, it was like some TikTok comments. It was like, talking about how Joe Budden, I don't know if you remember when Joe Budden got into it with Lil Yachty like a couple years ago.
I think so.
Yeah, but somebody was in the comments was like, y'all don't get it. Joe was coming from like a good place. It was just like bad delivery, but he was once in Yachty's spot. And some kids was like, oh, he was never number one. He'll never know what it's like to be Yachty, to have that many numbers. I'm like, yo, kids really don't understand that you can't look up somebody like Joe Budden's numbers. You can't look up somebody like early 2000s You can't see those numbers. Like, you can see the numbers, obviously, that was like bought and thing, but the actual, people burning his disc, getting his songs from LimeWire, like putting viruses on those
bootlegs.
You can't tell me how many times I done listened to Lil Wayne and T.I. that they ain't never seen $1 or nothing from the listens that I got. Like, no way to quantify those numbers. Like, people don't understand it. It's deeper than what you can really search up. If you weren't there to live and experience certain things, it's like even Joe Budden. There's a piece of music time that you can't really talk about it without including Joe Budden or the people that he was around at the time.
Exactly. Yeah, it's
I think that's all just like clout chasing. That's just, feelings got hurt. He probably wanted to be a part of something, and they was like, you know what, like you don't fit it. You're not really who you are, who you think you are. We just gonna keep moving, go the other direction. And he's probably just got a little pissed off about that.
Yeah, which happens, So, but definitely, man. So we'll see how everything plays out, and definitely looking forward to this next episode that's gonna be coming. And we just gonna keep this pushing. And again, we are gonna let y'all know when we're going live. It's gonna be soon, so don't worry about it. And we definitely will be like he said, we'll be back on our consistent schedule. It's been mostly my fault, y'all. I apologize. He's been ready. I just been from being sick
to we good.
It had like a few opportunities I had to jump on, but
and we still in the lab. We still in the laboratory.
That's it. And don't forget, drop your channel so people can check that out.
Yep, Return of Kumi. So y'all got that. Y'all can go follow that on YouTube, follow that on TikTok, and then you're gonna have Kumi. That's KUMI live. So that's gonna be my live page where I'm gonna just be talking a little bit more, giving a little bit more insights about the way I think about things, some of my philosophy, some of the things that my father has taught me throughout life. So I'm gonna be sharing that on there. So y'all can go follow those two pages and just stay tuned because it's about to be a lot of content.
And I will be a special guest on a few of those episodes, though. But definitely, and everything is going to be down in the credits. So again, this is the King to a Prince, the Royal Code. I'm the King.
And I am the Prince.
And we out. Love is love. Peace.